Hey everybody, I am Dr. Jacob Larson, and in this video we're going to talk about how to correct comma splices and fused sentences. So if you're not sure what those are, maybe you had a teacher, maybe it was me, told you need to fix these mistakes and you found this video. I'll start by explaining what they are, and then we'll talk about how to fix them a couple different ways. Okay, so let's start with the definition. Comma splice, when you have two independent clauses, meaning a group of words that have a subject and a predicate, and are complete by themselves, right? That's an independent clause. Let's say you have two of them and all you did was stick a comma in between them. That is an error that we call a comma splice. It's not the correct way to connect them. That's an issue. A fused sentence looks exactly the same except there's no comma. They're two independent clauses and there's nothing connecting them. Basically, they could be complete sentences with no period, right? So that's what these issues are. And they're more common than you might think. I was just giving a lesson to my students over these lessons, and then I asked them, I'm like, do you think you would recognize these in your own work? As we looked at some samples, and they're just like, yeah, I don't know. And it kind of starts with just paying attention, just looking for it. But once you're looking for it and you know how to fix it, we're going to be fine. Okay, so let's look at an example. So here's in a sentence, and all these examples come from my textbook I teach from, Everyday Writer with Examples by Andrea A. Lunsford. Okay, so education is an elusive idea. It means different things to different people. There's nothing wrong with the words, but in our example, it's a comma splice because they put a comma at the end of one independent clause and the beginning of another. It's not correct. So same thing. You take out the comma, and now it's a fused sentence. Another name for a fused sentence is a run-on sentence. Now, if you're like me, growing up in school, your teachers just told you, run-on it's like too long. It's just, you got to cut that thing down. That's not a run-on sentence. That's not the definition. That's just trying to encourage people to write shorter. A run-on sentence is a fused sentence. Those are the same things, right? So how do you fix it? Well, we're going to talk about it. Okay, so here are three examples. Let's see if you can figure out what it is. So it's either a comma splice or a fused sentence. So my mother spends hours tilling the soil and moving manure. This part of gardening is nauseating. Comma splice or fused sentence? This is a fused sentence. So this is what a true run-on sentence looks like. There's a lot of words. It's not connected correctly, but the issue isn't at the word and. It's actually right here after manure. That's where the issue is. I got it feeling bad. I feel even worse now. Comma splice, fused sentence. This is a comma splice. They stick a comma in between those two independent clauses, but that's not where you fix it. Well, that's not the correct fix. And last but not least, one more example. This photograph is not at all realistic. It even uses dreamlike images to convey its message. Fused sentence, comma splice. This is a comma splice again. So as you could tell, obviously there was commas in the comma splice and there wasn't one in the fused sentence, right? Once you're looking for it and you know that there's an issue, okay, you can pick that out. But if you ran across this sentence just in your own writing, would you recognize that there's a problem? There's no dead giveaway, except that it's not a list, but you got a comma and two independent clauses. It's not how we actually connect that. So, all right, if you're practicing, why don't you take a minute and write 5 sentences with comma splices and 5 with fused sentences. We're going to be using those later, but now's a good time to practice the problem. Okay, this will give you the opportunity to think about what the issue is, and maybe you can recognize it in your own writing before we'll fix it later. All right, so pause, take some time to do that, or if you're just curious about this video, we can keep moving on. All right, now we're going to talk about solutions for what to do with a comma splice or a fused sentence, because the problem is basically the same. Either you left out your punctuation, or you put it in the wrong spot, or you didn't finish solving the problem. Here's some solutions. Okay, You can separate the clauses into two sentences. Because they're independent clauses, you could just stick a period, capitalize, and then you're done, right? So right here, we've got in our three different examples highlighted in red, you can see where the period is, and you just capitalize your next word and you're good to go because they're complete by themselves. You could do that. That is a solution. Another idea is to, and this is pretty common, stick a comma, just like you did with your comma splice, but you also need a conjunction. In this case, you need a coordinating conjunction. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. One of those can help you. Now you just got to pick one that makes sense for that situation, and that can connect them correctly as well. Another solution is to just drop a semicolon. See, anywhere where you just stuck a comma for a true comma splice, you could probably just stick a semicolon and it solves the problem, because this is what semicolons do. Semicolons go between independent clauses. In fact, that is basically the only time you're probably going to run into it in your writing. They have nothing to do with lists unless they're like in an appendix or something, but not a situation most students run into, right? This would be a correct fix, and you can see some examples there. You could also, excuse me, you could just rewrite it, right? You could just, instead of trying to make two separate independent clauses work, you can rewrite it so that it fits into one example. Sometimes that's the most efficient thing to do. Maybe you had an idea from this group of words that if you added it to the other, it'd solve the problem. That could be a fix. And then you get rid of the punctuation, the conjunctions altogether. You could also take one of those independent clauses and make it dependent for the other one by adding a coordinating conjunction. Sorry, not coordinating, a subordinating conjunction or something like that. It can make that group of words dependent on the other. That's one way. So there's a couple different ways to punctuate that. It might require a comma. It might require rearranging the words. In this example right here, I used however to connect the two. And I used a semicolon before and a comma after. That's kind of a unique situation, but it's a fix. And then last but not least, you could use a dash, kind of like you would a semicolon. I don't do this very often, but it's one way to do it. You could absolutely do that. So we went through, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different solutions for how to solve this particular issue. Now, what's the correct solution? That's up to you. Each might has a slightly different impact on your reader. And as the writer, just pick which one you think is appropriate and go with that. So what can you do now? Well, if you want to practice this, you know, those sentences you wrote earlier, those sample comma splices and fused sentences, use some of these strategies, fix them, practice it on your own, and start to recognize this in your own writing. Hopefully anytime this shows up, you can fix it. That's it. I'm Dr. Jacob Larson. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.